Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post, man. You already know the vibes. And I hope you guys had a very, very, very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you choose to celebrate, man. I just hope you just had a great time, enjoying time with your friends, family, whatever. Happy holidays for me to you. And speaking of the holidays, man, we're going into a new year. This is the last episode of NXT. Before we go into that new year, this was a big setup episode, setting up for NXT New Year's Evil. And also you had the NXT awards that were showing the male, female superstar of the year, tag team of the year, moment of the year, match of the year, all those cool things. So let me know your favorite moments from NXT from this past year. Who was your favorite superstar, male, female, tag team? All those cool things in the comment section below. As far as this week's episode, it started off with a tag team match with some heavy implications. You had OTM taking on Chase U, and if Chase U won this match, their debts will be clear and they will be free from all the financial debt that the Andre gambling ass Chase and cured over the however long he's been gambling. And if OTM wins, they get a tag team match for the tag team championships against the D'Angelo family. So, you know, there was a lot riding on this tag team match. The student section is back. They're cheering on Chase U because, you know, they got to go to school, man. They got to get their education or whatever. But it did seem like towards the end of the match, Duke Hudson had the match won. But Andre Chase tagged himself in. And it didn't look like Duke Hudson was too happy because he was on a roll, man. He was on fire. He was hot. He was beating up OTM. But Andre Chase fumbled the bag, man. He lost the match for this team. And me personally, it feels like, I don't want to speculate, but it kind of feels like Andre Chase lost the match on purpose. I don't know for what reason or for why. Because if he would have won, all his problems would have been solved, man. He would have got his school back. His school would be out of debt. But, you know, brother, sister, it is what it is. OTM got the win, so they will be challenging the D'Angelo family. After this, we had Noam Dar defending his Heritage Cup against Josh Briggs. Now, Noam Dar had that metaphor out there with him, but Josh Briggs came out by himself. He didn't want Fallon Henley and the other one, what's his name? Jensen, whatever his name is, I don't care. But he came out dolo. He came out all by himself. And, you know, even though he was by himself, Josh Briggs was holding it down. He actually had a pinfall over Noam Dar. And it was kind of looking like if Josh Briggs could have held out for another round, he would be the new Heritage Cup champion. But due to the outside interference from the metaphor, Josh Briggs lost his cool. He ended up hitting Noam Dar with a foreign object, got himself disqualified. And this was something I didn't know because this isn't something me personally, I haven't seen. But apparently, if you get a disqualification in the Heritage Cup Championship match, that's it. The match is over. It gets thrown out. And still your Heritage Cup winner, Noam Dar. Josh Briggs was so close to becoming the new Heritage Cup champion. But, you know, bro lost his cool. Couldn't handle the pressure. The lights were too bright for him. Yeah, man. So later in the show, you saw a moment between Briggs and Jensen and Fallon Henley. And, you know, Jensen, he was saying, listen, you guys got to go off and do your own thing. And it looks like they're breaking up. Briggs and Jensen and Henley, they're breaking up. Josh Briggs, he's going to be a solo superstar. Fallon Henley, she's going to go off and do her own thing. And this leads Jensen to, you know, do whatever. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't really care. We do know that next week is going to be Fallon Henley taking on Tiffany Stratton, and the loser becomes the servant for a day or whatever, so we'll see. So after this, we had a backstage segment with Axiom talking to Nathan Frazier. And Nathan Frazier, he's done it again Old Nathan with his big forehead and his messed up hairline put his foot in his mouth once again. He's talking trash about how Braun Breaker didn't win Superstar of the Year. And Braun Breaker caught him talking trash. He said, listen, well, bro, later tonight it's going to be me and you. And indeed it was Braun Breaker and Nathan Frazier. For what it was worth, Nathan Frazier did a good job of holding his own, man. He was using his speed to, try to get the best of Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker tried to murder this man with that big giant spear. He broke him in by God half. Braun Breaker got the win. And for some reason, Baron Corbin was watching this match. So I don't know if this is going to lead to a match between Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. Me personally, I don't care to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing Braun Breaker go to the main roster because right now he's not really doing too much of anything. So, let's see Braun Breaker on the main roster, man. Let's see him on Raw or SmackDown. But so after this, we had a match between Cora Jade and Carmen Petrovic. And a winner gets the locker room space or whatever. Because they're pretty much fighting over their locker room, whatever. Cora Jade won. After the match, she put the beat down on Carmen Petrovic. But Gigi Dolan came out and made the save. So, cool, that's pretty cool. Give Gigi Dolan something to do. Speaking of something to do, we have the finals of the men's breakout tournament. We had Femi and Brute Force taking on Tavion Heights. Defeated him. The Brute Force was too much for Tavion Heights, so he's going through to the finals. And we also had Riley Osborne with the upset of the century, of the decade, of the year, of the millennium. He defeated Lexus King. Me personally, I thought Lexus King was gonna, go to the finals, but that wasn't the case. Celebration, happy days are here again. Lexus King lost because he's a loser and he has weird facial hair. So it's gonna be in the finals. It's gonna be Riley Osborne taking on Femi to see who will be the men's breakout tournament winner. After this, we have the No Quarter Combat Chess Club, or whatever the fuck they're called. They had the challenge for the LWO to a 6-man tag team match next week on New Year's Evil. And of course the LWO accepts. And then we have a big reunion between Elektra Lopez and Raul and Joaquin, former members of the Legado del Fantasma. And Lola Vice was there as well. Now Lola Vice didn't look too interested in, linking up with the LWO. She looks like she's more interested in Santos Escobar and the new Legado del Fantasma. So we'll have to wait and see where this goes between Lola and Elektra Lopez. Me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Lola, link up with Santos and Elektra linking up with the LWOs and Selena Vega. So, we'll see. But next week is going to be the LWO taking on the Orlando Quarters. We don't have any chains, Combat Club Quarters. I don't know what they're called, but 6-man tag team match is going down next week. Speaking of more matches being made official for New Year's Evil, we have Ariana Grace. She's talking to, I guess, the assistant general manager. I don't know what Ava's title is, but she's out here making matches, and she's made it official. It's going to be Ariana Grace taking on Roxanne Perez next week. Speaking of women's business, we have a backstage segment between Lyra Valkyria and Blair Davenport, hyping up their match for the NXT Women's Championship next week. And, they talk to each other, they pose with the championship, so, should be a solid match. A match that I didn't really expect to be so solid was the Battle of the Joes. We had Joe Gacy taking on Joe Coffey. And at first, man, I was going to check out. I wasn't really going to care too much about this match. But for what it was worth, it was solid. It was okay. It wasn't too offensive. The NXT universe was chanting for Joe. Let's go, Joe. Joe, you suck. We want Joe. All types of Joe chants. And in the Battle of the Joes, Joe Gacy actually ended up getting the win. So, I guess he's the undisputed Joe. I don't know if he has to face Joe Anoa'i or Samoa Joe, but it is what it is. As far as NXT goes, Joe Gacy is the #1 Joe. Good for you. Good for Joe. So in our main event match, we had an NXT Underground match between Dijak and Eddy Thorpe. And these two men beat the absolute holy hell out of each other. These two men absolutely do not like each other. They downright hate each other. They did a good job of, showcasing the fact that Dijak is like the Terminator. He just couldn't stop. The referee was like constantly checking on him. And Dijak was like, yo, don't stop this match. I want to kill this man. And, Eddy Thorpe, he kept hitting that DDT, the Manifest Destiny. He hit one in the ring. He hit one on the outside. And finally, he hit one through the announce table. And, they were doing all types of moves. There were like suplexes, slams on the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. Eddy Thorpe ended up getting the win, so good for him, good for Eddy Thorpe. I don't know where this leads these two men going forward, but, Eddy Thorpe is looking like the man as far as these underground matches go. I think this is like his second time winning an underground match. So, good for you, go Eddy Thorpe. So, yeah, man. So, this led us into our main event angle. And this was kind of one of the big stories throughout the whole entire show. We had Trick Williams talking to Carmelo Hayes, and he was saying that, listen, maybe you should have the match pushed off a little bit. And Carmelo was like, nah, man, you gotta. This is your shot. This is your opportunity. You gotta go for the goal while you can. And Carmelo is actually looking like a good friend, giving good friend advice to Trick Williams. And Ilja Dragunov got injured last week at the hands of Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland tweeted out how sorry he was, for hurting Ilja. That wasn't his intention. And next week he's going to have an interview talking about, what happened last week. Ilja showed up with a neck brace, looking very neck strong. Roderick Strong will be very proud of Ilja Dragunov. And this led us to our main event angle, possibly one of the most dramatic contract signings in wrestling history of all time, Very dramatic, very overproduced, but it did a good job of getting the point across. So they both signed the contract to make it official. Next week is on, man. Trick Williams will challenge for the NXT Championship against Ilja Dragunov. And do I think Trick Williams is going to win? Unfortunately, I do not. I do see Trick Williams becoming an NXT champion in the future, but not this close to the future, Dragunov is going to win. And I think Carmelo Hayes is finally going to reveal the fact that he's the one that attacked Trick Williams all those weeks ago, those months ago, all that time ago. It was just Carmelo. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Final NXT review of the year, man. Looking forward to what happens next here with NXT. And I still got one more review left to do. I'm going to do my last Dynamite review of the year. And then I'm going to do a predictions video for 2024, and I'm also going to do my quote-unquote year in review video. So it's a lot of videos coming out, and we'll also have the World's End AEW review. I'm going to be a very busy boy these next few days, so let me know you guys' thoughts on this week's episode of NXT, as well as your favorite NXT moments throughout the year, man. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Be easy. I'm out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Peace.